everyone, my name's Evie and welcome to my channel. Today we are back playing Tyrion Cuthbert, where we are going to go back to the crime scene and look for clues to try and get Celeste acquitted. So we're just going to jump straight in and go for it. You arrive back at the McCoy Tavern. Luckily for you, the Inquisition set up a teleportation circle for you to use. With that circle, you could magically teleport between the capital and the crime scene instantaneously. It's definitely miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White takes notice of you as you enter the tavern. It looks like he's working with a team of knights to investigate the crime scene. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have just as much right to investigate this crime scene as you do. Yeah, whatever. Just remember, I got my eye on you, kid. Oh, and I finally get my buttons. Okay. It's a painting of a man in a suit. There's some text on it. Adam Evely, politician of the pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations west of here. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going there. An election? Was Flintheart studying democracies for his little revolution? The Inquisition lit some candles, but there's a magical lamp right there. I wonder why they're not using those instead. It's a painting of a mage, and there's some text on it. Zamala Daglian, a legendary practitioner of the arcane arts. He mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumoured that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. However, he was reckless in casting the spell, and Daglian quickly lost control of its magic. His body was never found. Many speculate he didn't actually die during the accident, but if that's true, where did he end up? Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might explain why Flintheart keeps it in his tavern. Oh, look at the bloodstone. But first, I want to touch everything else. There's a modern-looking lamp mounted on the wall. It's a lamp powered by artificery. I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this. Bah. Artificery is just another form of magic. Actually, artificery draws from surrounding ley lines to... I didn't ask for a science lesson, kid. Anyways, look where artificery got these folks. The arcane power cell broke, and they haven't had any power for weeks. Yep, nothing can beat good old oil and flame. God, he's so smug. Things I can't say because it's a video. Okay. Yes, that's everything. I just need to go down to here. There's a broken bottle on the floor. It shattered close to the chalk outline of the body. The label has the words Lotus Juice on it. I've never heard of that brand before. Must be foreign. And now, see where Flintheart was lying. There's a chalk outline of a person on the ground of the tavern. This is probably where Flintheart died. The outline matches the picture that the Inquisition took. Nothing seems out of place here. Hey. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. As if I'd help the likes of you. I saw who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. What? I'm just looking for some information. A likely story. He was cooperative before when he let you see Celeste. Why is he being so stubborn now? Is he angry that you embarrassed him in court today? In any case, you won't get anywhere at this rate. If you want his help, you'll need to persuade him through an argument. So, what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm just genuinely curious. Well, I'm sure you already know, but us Inquisitors investigate crimes that involve magic. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. It makes sense. Most mages are in the nobility after all. Even if they're untouchable, they don't make a habit of getting into trouble with the law. You must have an easy job then. You got that right. He doesn't seem that happy about that. Commander White, you seem to speak negatively about my client's magic. You have a personal grudge against mages. You're damn right I do. Wow, he didn't even try to deny it. And if you had any sense, you would too. All a mage has to do is wave their hands and say some magic nonsense. Then you suddenly have a dead body on the ground. And don't get me started on mage blight. If some noble uses their magic too much, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. I don't know if this is going too far, but why join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that, that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug? Sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate. No, you have the right of it. Anytime a noble is involved in a case, I'm ordered to look the other way. You don't seem very happy to do that. Why would you stay in this line of work? Because every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. We can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least, they were before your boss showed up. Your boss? Does he have something against Miss Tamora? I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Tamora? Ha! Ms. Tamora. What are you, her lackey or something? No, actually, she's my guardian. Oh, I didn't know she even had a... Look, kid, I don't know what the deal is between you two, but no good will ever come from associating with her. This is about the rumors, isn't it? Throughout the years, there have been several insidious rumors surrounding Ms. Tamora. She's been accused of forgery, blackmail, and all manner of illegal activities. It's clearly misinformation spread by the nobility to discredit her. She's always been fine with it, but you can't help but get angry on her behalf. It's more than just rumors. I've seen it for myself. That woman is evil, kid. She defends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She's not evil, she's a hero. Yeah, whatever. Orem White's psychological profile is complete. Well, that's nice for me. Okay, I can't argue with him. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go upstairs first. If people keep seeing you here, they're going to start asking questions. Leave the investigation to me. All you have to do is stay quiet until the trial is over. While heading upstairs, you spot the prosecutor having a conversation with someone. They seem to be in some kind of argument. Enough. I will do as I see fit. You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're the defense attorney from the trial. I am. I'm sorry, but who... how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Pierce, the ruling noble of this land. Of course your name is Garrick. As the ruling noble, I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial, as misguided as it may be. I suppose that you also think my client is guilty? It does not matter what I think. This entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for the nobility and the nobility alone. It is a symbol of the aristocracy and our divine right to rule. Oh, I don't like you. And now that bastard child has tainted that symbol in the public eye. All of that has nothing to do with her. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Even if she is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption. So you're saying that she should be found guilty even if she's innocent? What do you suppose will happen if she's acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite a myriad of evidence. That alone would be enough to cause public outrage. Tensions between the aristocracy and the common folk are high enough as it is. I'll stop being a bunch of... Can't say that word. What is one insignificant girl when compared to the stability of our great kingdom? That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Pierce. I can't refute what he said. but I don't agree with it. What? The system should be based on truth and justice, not on public opinion. Then why are you working against my client? Do you honestly think she's the kind of person that would kill her father? It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine. It's hard to get a read on that woman. Yes, it is. Now, several doors lead to guest rooms. Aside from the rooms that you and Ms. Tamora used, they don't look like they've been open for quite some time. That's all the doors. There are some candles lighting up the hallway. They look like they used to be a part of the old architecture. There's a door at the end of the hallway. It looks like it's seen some use recently. You try to open the door, but it seems to be locked. Perhaps someone might have a key to open it. Back to the old Tav? Right, let's argue. Commander White seems unusually hostile towards you, and you have a feeling it's not just because you embarrassed him in court today. If you can clear up this misunderstanding, you might be able to convince him to help you. Start an argument with Oren White. Yeah, no, can I say first? Yeah, okay. Start an argument with Oren White? Yes. Alright, I'm just going to come out and say it. Do you have a problem with me, Commander White? You should know exactly what my problem is with you. I saw who you work for. Do I have to spell it out for you? Or does your boss not tell you what she gets up to? Regardless of what Miss Tamora has done, I'm the one heading this case. Whatever problems you have with her, they have nothing to do with me. That still doesn't change the fact that you work for her. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. I'll bet you're just the same. A successor for the devil of defense attorneys. Forgery, bribery, blackmail? Have you seen me do any of those things? Because all I've done so far is point out the mistakes that you've made. Eat it. Look, kid, I'd like nothing more than to believe you, but after everything I've seen her do, I know better. Anyone taught by that woman can't be anything more than a crook. Right now, I'm just a defense attorney that's asking you for information. Nothing I've done has given you any reason to suspect me. You just want some info, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. You've successfully persuaded Oren White. Oh, good. Hey. Leave his mistake to last. This probably goes without saying, but I don't believe the sword is the murder weapon. Right, I guess you have to prove that someone else put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around, we definitely didn't. That would be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? But let's say the girl really is being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwind turned the place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If someone did hide a murder weapon here, they hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job? I honestly have no idea what she's even doing in this line of work. I heard that she's from a renowned noble house. She must be a pretty powerful mage. Powerful is an understatement. The Steelwinds who came before her could turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true, right? I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Oh, shut it with that. I already got an earful from Steelwind about that mess. Like, you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Steelwind's basically taken over the entire investigation. Wait, does she have the authority to do that? Normally she wouldn't, but I know better than to go against orders from a noble. Right, there's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She even had my men drop a scaled map of the crime scene. Wait, really? Do you have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Don't know how much good it'll do you. You think you found everything you can here, but what does it all mean? There's no murder weapon to be found, and there's no obvious evidence of another person at the scene. Hey, you okay? You got quiet all of a sudden. Alright, just focus. Close your eyes and let everything else disappear from the world. Hey, you listening? So there's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? He didn't move during the murder? Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. There's also the autopsy report, which says that he died from a stab from behind. He was probably caught off guard and was too incapacitated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened at the exact position he fell over. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. I doubt it means anything, but the shattered bottle is right next to the body. Okay, how did the bottle shatter? So, Flintheart dropped the bottle during the attack. Flintheart dropped the bottle when he was attacked. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. What's so strange about one bottle, though? It may seem like an insignificant detail, but that detail could help me infer other elements of what happened during the murder. Right. There's also the fact that the artificiery lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orem? No, we had to light some so we could see the crime scene properly. We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in pitch black darkness. So, they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. The crime scene had no lighting during the murder. The argument that Celeste had with Flintheart must have been spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have a lot of visibility. If he was stabbed from behind, he probably didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised and was probably in too much shock to run away. Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself. Or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart. Kid? Or the assailant attacked him from his blind spot while his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid! What? What was that all about? Sorry. Sometimes I just get lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're freaking me out. Right. Anyways, you think you found everything you can here. You should move somewhere else. Oh, we're all done. Right, so she's in the barracks. Can I get a key from Celeste? You return to the cell that Celeste is being kept in. The ambient despair in the air fills your mind like a horrendous stench. You do your best to ignore the emotions of the other prisoners, but you haven't had much practice blocking out this many people. As you arrive, you see Celeste huddled down in a corner. As soon as she sees you, her down mood seems to lift, if only for a moment. Oh. Hi, Mr. Cuthbert. There's no need to address me so formally. Just call me Tyrion. Okay. Anyways, I came here to ask you some questions about the case. Right. I can't examine her. The torches are hanging on the wall of the cell. It seems a bit irresponsible to put a potentially harmful item in here with the prisoners, but perhaps the Inquisition doesn't care about that. Telling me. There's only one locked door that leads into the cell, and it seems to be locked by some kind of magical mechanism. The cell has a barred window. Even if a prisoner somehow broke through the bars, there's a 3-story drop to freedom. Nice. I'm sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost us the trial. No, there's no need to apologize. You did great. But it was only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed you down, who knows what would have happened. But I still don't understand, though. Why were there traces of magic on my dad's body? Right, those traces of magic were on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. They only linger around for 48 hours, and that gives you a rough timeline of when and where a spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day? I did. I usually cast it when I train in the morning. That explains why there was a trace on the sword, at least. Did the trace on my sword leave the magical trace on my dad's body? No. Magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when physical contact is made. Really? What does that mean, then? Whatever killed your father had a transmutation spell active on it at the time. The magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence. I can't believe this. Could you tell me more about your father? Sorry, I know this must be difficult after everything that's happened. No, it's okay. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Were you two close? We were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and my mum. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all his heart until... Until what? Does this have something to do with the argument that they had? I'm sorry to say this, but I could hear your argument from my room that night. Could you tell me about what happened? For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated mages. I'm not sure why, but if you even mentioned magic around him, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from my family. But why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, you could have gone your whole life without using it. Ever since our tavern closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary and use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in the nobility, so people will pay a lot for a sellsword who can use magic. So that's why she's a mercenary. But I know now, learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On that night, my dad found my spell compendium. When he confronted me about it, I finally came clean to him. That's when he flew into another one of his rages. He shouted at me. He told me that I'd betrayed him and his family. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how that must have felt. I deserved every bit of it. I knew how much he hated magic, but I learned to use it anyways. He showed me so much love, and I just threw it all away. Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me. You feel a sharp pain in your chest as you see that thought. So, there's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but I just wanted to investigate it to make sure. A locked room at the end of the hallway? I think that's my room. Do you know how I could get in there? It's the only room in the tavern that I haven't investigated. You feel a suspicious gaze from Celeste. What's that look for? I'm your lawyer. I'm not going to do anything weird. Sorry, you're right. Here, you can use this key to get inside. You use the key to enter Celeste's room. However, you're startled when you notice that someone else is already inside. I've already told you knights everything I know. What more do you... Oh, aren't you Celeste's attorney? I am. Who are you? Oh, how rude of me. I'm Jolene McCoy. I'm Celeste's mother. I was at the trial this morning. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for my daughter. So this is Celeste's mother. She might be able to tell you more about Flintheart. About that, do you mind if I ask you some questions for my investigation? Of course. I'll do anything I can to help. I'm gonna do that after I check out the room. It's a fancy-looking bed. Celeste had it custom-made. Wouldn't something like this be really expensive? It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. Apparently, she was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary. Wow, you and Flintheart must have been happy for her. We are. But I still wish she'd get a less dangerous job. Oh, poor Mama Bear. It's a door leading to the upstairs hallway. It's a painting of a woman with some sort of aquatic animal. Oh, I love that painting. Celeste brought it back from her travels. Supposedly, that woman's name is Madeline Kipling. From what I've heard, she runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think the animal in this painting is called a fakip. Celeste told me that she really likes them. That's interesting. You weren't aware that these kinds of creatures even existed. It's a table with several chairs. It must be used for entertaining guests. It doesn't look like it's seen much use, though. Hey, and I think that's everything. Can you tell me why your husband hated mages so much? I understand that most people dislike the nobility and associate magic with them, but on that night, it's like he was furious at Celeste specifically because she was a mage. Oh, you must have talked to Celeste. I wasn't there when their argument happened, but I can only imagine what he said to her. Do you know what happened to him? Why does he hate magic so much? Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago, Flintheart had a sister named Effie. When we were all children, we were friends with a boy named Garrick Pierce. He was the son of the ruling noble at the time. Garrick Pierce? Isn't that the nobleman that was speaking with Steelwind earlier? We were all inseparable at the time. He'd always sneak into town to play with us against his family's wishes. They probably weren't too happy about that. He was quite rebellious back then. But everything changed when Garrick began learning how to use magic. One day, when we were playing together, he wanted to show off the spells that he'd learned. He was told not to use his magic without his instructor there, but he was just too excited. He began casting his spells, but something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Effie. We tried bringing her back into town, but by that time it was too late. She was already gone. I'm sorry. That must have been traumatizing for all of you. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. House Pierce used their connections to cover up what happened. They even threatened Flintheart's family into keeping quiet. After that, the official story was that Effie had been mauled by a wolf. That's not surprising. The nobility seldom take responsibility for their actions, even for a mistake like that. Something changed in Flintheart after that. He began speaking out against the nobility. Eventually, he started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more and more people began listening to his words and joining his cause. The number of people that he'd gotten under his banner was terrifying. There was even talk of an outright revolution against the kingdom. That might explain why someone would go out of their way to kill him. I knew how much danger he was putting himself in, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until we adopted Celeste. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family? It all happened many years ago, back when the McCoy Tavern was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her. And that baby was Celeste. Yes, Linhart and I had always wanted a child. I thought that Celeste must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at her inn. I didn't care though, I loved her all the same. I'm sure Flinhart did too. Wait, you knew that she was a mage all this time? I did. You haven't known her very long, but she's a terrible liar. Flinhart must have noticed too, but I think he didn't want to believe it. I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hated her because she was a mage. There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loved her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her that night, nothing would ever change that. After seeing them together, you figured as much. Celeste was the world to him. When we adopted her, it was the first time in decades that I'd seen him so genuinely happy. They must have been really close. More than anything, do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just returned from her travels. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. I think it was called lotus juice or something strange like that. Well, Flinhart did everything he could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors with some of his revolutionary friends. But in the end, he was only able to get a single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if it were the only bottle of lotus juice in the region. Wait a minute. Lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Flinhart bought? You show her a picture of the shattered bottle you found next to Flinhart's body. It is! Oh no. He was going to surprise her with it. I found the broken pieces next to Flinhart's... Well, I found them in the dining area. That's strange. He'd been keeping it in our room so she wouldn't find it. Really? When was the last time you saw it? Right before I left the house that night. It was right before their big argument. So it wasn't just laying around in the bar. He decided to retrieve it after the argument. Alright, you think you've investigated everything you can for now. But there's still one last thing you need to do. You ready yourself for one last conversation with Celeste? Thank you, Mama McCoy. Oh, you're back! Did you forget something? Actually, there's one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh? Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you. But after everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Your father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. You desperately want to reach her. If she keeps believing that he hated her, that thought will eat away at her for the rest of her life. You know that better than anyone. But it looks like it won't be that simple. You'll need to win an argument against her if you want her to see the truth. Can I not just show her the bottle? Okay. Celeste believes that her father died hating her, but after seeing them together and learning about them, you know that can't possibly be true. You just need to convince her of that. Yeah. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it. But everyone knows that my father hated mages. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic so much. What? When Flinhart was a child, he had a younger sister. She was tragically killed by a mage decades ago. That's why he had such an immense hatred for magic. I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. That's all the more reason for him to have hated me. I knew how much he hated magic, but I still learned to use it anyways. Magic killed someone he loved. No wonder he was furious. Wait, it was selfish of me to learn. No? Okay. Pay extra. I think. But you didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? You learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down. You're a good person, Celeste. And you did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that. Just shut up. What? Shut up! Just stop it! Whatever composure she had before is slowly breaking down. You weren't there! You didn't hear what he said to me! I could see it in his eyes. There's no way he would ever forgive me. If this isn't it, I'm gonna eat my foot. Take a look at this picture, Celeste. What? A shattered bottle? Wait, is that a bottle of lotus juice? Do you know where I found this? On the floor of your family's inn. What? That can't be true. I tried to find it here, but no one sells it in Wyvengard. Your father knew how much you loved this drink. He called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you. What? He did that? Your father didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything. That doesn't change anything. If he did all that for me, it was before he knew about my secret. I'm sure he never would have done it if he knew the truth. That's not true at all. What the hell would you know about him? You barely even knew him. How could you possibly know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe that he still loved me before he died? But I know the truth. There's no way he would ever forgive me for what I did. It's not just the fact that he bought a drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when it shattered. What do you mean? Your mother said that the bottle was stowed in her room before your argument, but I found the shattered bottle in the lobby, where his body was. I ran into him before I went to look for you. He was going upstairs to his room. That can only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended. What? Why would he have it? It's because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. He was going to give you a gift to apologize for what he said to you. He was going to apologize. Your father loved you, Celeste. And as tragic as it is, he was going to try to apologize to you before he was murdered. I don't like this. My daughter, working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself. I don't doubt it, but you still shouldn't have to risk your neck for our sakes. They closed the inn, Dad. We won't be able to survive unless I do this. Just be careful, okay? I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. No matter what anyone says, you're our daughter, and we'll love you until the day we die. Dad, how could I ever think that? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad. Celeste had barely been keeping it together throughout the whole argument, but her realization is finally causing her to break down. She begins crying loudly as she quickly embraces you. In this cold, dark place, she probably hadn't felt warmth of any kind for days. You're caught off guard and feel a little embarrassed, but you comfort her while she vents her emotions. Oh, you poor baby girl. Are you feeling better? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I've been thinking such horrible things this entire time. She looks at you and gives you a warm smile. It's probably the first time you've seen her genuinely smile since this whole ordeal started. Thank you. But is everything really going to be okay? I'll make sure of it. I'll get justice for you and your father. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're a man, king, or god. Oh, you dweeb. You're completely different now. What happened to the nervous wreck from before? Oh, please forget about that. Anyways, take some time to rest. The trial is going to resume soon. With that, you've done everything you can for now. You've learned a lot about what happened the night of the murder. You just hope it's enough. But even with your investigation, you still don't know what the prosecution has planned. Has Pierce told you all of the details, Mr. Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes, I pride myself on my eidetic memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings. I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. It has to be the bastard child. We don't know what sort of tricks Ruby Tamora might pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. Alright, I think we'll leave that there for now, guys. That took much longer than I was expecting, and there is still the whole court scene to come, so we will have to come back to it in the next video. I am having such a blast with this, and just meeting the characters. I love the argument system where you have to, you know, it's not just making your arguments in court and finding things in fetch questing, which is, you know, sort of a staple of this type of game, but I'm really enjoying that you get to use that in sort of in the smaller argument sense and sort of use your intuition and sort of logic and reason and all that. I think that's it's a very, very cool mechanic, so I'm enjoying that immensely. Anyway, guys, if you are enjoying this as much as I am, please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. And make sure that you have that notification bell rung, because it will keep you up to date with everything that is happening here. Thank you so much for exploring with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!